Happy day, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Positive Thought Series, a series on how to think more positively. I'm your girl, Yan. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are joining me again, welcome back, y'all. I am so happy that you all are here. Thank you for tuning in to this series. I really hope that this series has been so beneficial for you and it's been such a great resource. And even though I know a lot of it has been very repetitive, I really hope it was able to be like a drill sergeant to you in a way, like, okay, I got to think positive. I got to do this. I got to do that, you know? So anyways, this week's episode was actually literally just derived. I'm not going off the list this time, but I thought it was important to kind of share this story because it's so relatable, especially with myself. So the topic of this week is going to be called Be Patient. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all. This week's episode is titled Be Patient. How does this relate to positivity? Well, when you think about what patience means, let's just go ahead and dive right into the definition. The definition of patience is your ability to wait without becoming annoyed, upset, or frustrated. It's the ability to be patient and calm and not become angry or frustrated or whatever the case may be. And all of those emotions that you could become if you were not patient are negative emotions, right? So I was really thinking about this, like, be patient is going to be this week's episode because of the simple fact that also I myself have had to practice patience. And it's a great thing to talk about when we talk about just thinking more positively. Something as simple as patience is something that I think we all could have a little bit more of. So that's our why. Just to kind of get into a little story time. I was at dinner with some friends, and one of the things that we were talking about was dating. And so I'm dating, and one of the things that I would say, I'm dating right now, right? And so I was kind of giving them a rundown of how my dating experiences have gone in the past. And I was explaining how everything was always a rush. I was always just jumping right into a relationship, not even knowing who the person was. And instead of taking the time to get to know them as a friend and then deciding, okay, let's get into a relationship. And I was like, you know, I feel like all of the times that I were impatient, everything that I've done in my life have led me up to this moment that I'm at now. And I will say there's some times where I still have a little impatience, but I'm able to recognize when that comes about. But I feel like these days I am extremely patient and even more patient than I was. For example, I'm at the post office today. I get in the post office and the line was so long, y'all. And I just knew I had to go in there with ease. I had to go in there with grace. I had to go in there just like, I'm just here to ship something off just like everyone else is. And that can be hard to do sometimes, especially if you're in a rush. But in order to avoid being in a rush, what do? You allot the proper time for things so that you're not in a rush, so that you can be more patient with people, right? So in that situation, I was able to just pause and say, you know what, like, I thought it in my head. And remember, we've been talking about how you can change your thoughts. And I thought it, but I said, you know what? I'm not even going to get annoyed or anything. I'm literally just going to just wait my turn. And that's what I did. And I also feel like with being patient, you'll start to see this calmness that you'll have. Like, you'll be extremely calm in any situation. And it also allows you to be able to treat people better. It also allows you to really just kind of just take yourself out of your own shoes and take the actual people who work at the post office, like, for example, actually have some, you know, patience with them and, you know, thank you so much. Thank you for helping me. I hope you have an amazing day. You know, being able to extend that grace, but also send some love in the same sentence, right? And so I think everybody could use a little patience in some areas, and it doesn't even have to be something like that. It could even be with if you have kids, for example. Or we can even talk about our elderly parents, because even with my mom, sometimes I become a little impatient. She called me and she had a stroke. And so, I mean, she didn't just have the stroke, but she's had a stroke. It's been a while now and she can't really talk. So sometimes she'll call and she's trying to say something. I'm like, Ma, I don't know what you're trying to say. I don't know what you're trying to say. But it requires me to be extremely patient with her. And today, when we were talking, she just was talking about, I'm honestly, I still don't know what she was talking about, but there was such a reward for me being patient with her, because towards the end of the call, she's like, hey, you and me, Red Lobster? When I tell y'all, that just warmed my heart. It really kind of makes me a little bit emotional, but like, it also makes me just feel like I'm so thankful to still have my mom. I am able to be extremely patient with her, and here she is just talking about like, let's just go eat. She's becoming this beautiful older lady and she can't talk as good as she used to, but there are certain things she can say, and that is one of them. But I know, like, sometimes I'll find myself kind of getting frustrated, like, what's going on? What are you trying to say? I'm not sure. But it's like, there's great reward and a great payoff for being patient with people, especially in my mom's situation. Like, I understand that she doesn't have the capability, and sometimes she becomes a little frustrated because she isn't able to actually speak and say the things she wants to say. It's great when she actually can say what she's trying to say, and I'm able to just be extremely patient with her and see it through. So be patient. What is it that you know you could be more patient with? What is it? Who is it? Like, is there someone you know you could be more patient with? Identify it and figure out, what does that look like for you? Does it look like listening to what someone has to say? Does it look like going somewhere and just, not huffing and puffing because it's taking too long? Does it look like allotting extra time so that you're not in a rush to go anywhere and you're not being patient with people? What does that look like for you? And I really want to challenge you to look at ways you can be more patient so that you can start to be patient with others. And on the flip side of that, just going back to the previous example when I was saying right now, when it comes to dating, for me, that's me having to be patient with myself and knowing also that what God has for me is for me. And that's the other piece to this, is that I have reached a place where it's like, I truly and fully trust God to do what it is he's doing. I know he's answered the prayer that I've been praying about for so long, and it has taken me so long. My journey has been longer than others. It hasn't been as simple as me meeting somebody and, getting married. It has taken me learning more about myself, learning what it is I want, being patient with myself during the course of all of this, and then actually dating and getting to know people and being patient with people as well. So there's just so many different ways when I say be patient that you can look at. And it could be something as simple as yourself. Is there things that you feel like you are trying to rush? Are there things that you feel like you're trying to force? What is it that you could probably just say, hey, I'm going to give it to God and trust God more and be patient with myself and truly just trust the process? What is it? I'm sure there's something that you can think about. And so be patient. This is such a positive thing to do when we practice patience and we're more patient and we're more mindful. It shows, and people appreciate that. It's about what people think, but it's not about what people think. It's about what and how that makes you feel. And I can assure you, by being more patient, you will start to see a more calm version of yourself. And if this isn't for you, if you are an extremely patient person and you haven't had to go through that, can you think about anybody who is impatient? Extend some words to them. Share this video with them. Tell them, hey, I think you could benefit by being more patient. I think that if you started to be more patient, you'll start to see this come about. You know what I mean? And life can be very fast paced, but I don't think that we need to really be in a rush, because I truly believe that what is meant for you will happen when it's best to happen for you, whenever God has that called over your life. Another example I was just thinking about is Shakari. The other day she gave her speech. She basically was just saying how Before, it wasn't her time, but this is her time. What also did she have to do within that? Be patient with herself. Be patient with the timing. She knew the time was coming, but back then, that wasn't the time. But now the time is now. And so we can learn a lot from other people, and we can also share with other people and teach other people and let people know, hey, I think that you are being a little impatient in this direction, but here's what being more patient would look like. And so I'm always sharing my story, and that's what I was doing with my friends, was sharing my story. Like, during my dating journey, there have been times where I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, when is it going to happen? What's going on? But now it's like, I got to the point where it's like, I truly and wholeheartedly trust God that I'm able to be patient with myself, patient with God, patient in every single area, so that things can fall into alignment and be the way that they're supposed to be. So all in all, I encourage you all, if you're already a patient person, let somebody else know. Hey, I noticed this is what you do, but this is what you could do. You know, this series has been about us thinking more positively, and by us thinking more positively, we can influence others to be more positive. And that's one thing I'm always trying to do. Like, if I see an area where I think that somebody can improve, I'll share it, and it's up to them, obviously, to make the decision to make the change. But I'm always just like, you know, I just want to try to help if I can. So, and I want us to do more of that. So be patient. Be patient with others. Be patient with yourself. If you know somebody who can be more patient, extend that to them. It's such a beautiful thing when you start to be more patient, and it really gives you this sense of ease and calmness. And yeah, that is all that I have for this episode. I hope that this has been extremely helpful. And if this was something you already knew, let me know that too. But also, or if there's something you will add to this Be Patient episode, drop it in the comments. And yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.